The Twins return to Progressive Field tonight looking to win their first series since the All-Star break. It's Game 2 between the Twins and the Cleveland Indians. Game 1 was a wild one. The Twins put up 10 runs in an offensive outburst. All 9 batters had a hit. We saw several big hits with 2 outs and 15 total hits as the Twins broke out of their offensive slump in a big, big way. Welcome inside Progressive Field. I'm Jamie Hirsch. Last night may have been a total team effort offensively, but Torrey Hunter was the star of the game. Not only did he hit the game-winning home run, he collected 3 RBI, but he also brought the passion that Twins fans have seen from him for years. Let's flash back to 2002. Here in Cleveland, Hunter hit by a pitch, goes down in obvious pain, but he fired back, flunking Danny Baez as hard as he could before he was tossed. Torrey told me yesterday he has never forgotten that, and he always wants to come back here and hurt the Indians with his bat now. Well, he certainly did that this season, collecting 10 hits in 17 at-bats with 3 doubles and 3 home runs, including last night's game winner. No doubt about it, he loves hitting at this ballpark, so he is certainly one guy to keep an eye on tonight. But it isn't just Torrey Hunter racking up the extra bases. A lot of Twins players have come through in big spots and collecting doubles, triples, and homers. When we come back, Dick Raymer and Jack Morris break down the power surge that got the Twins out of a slump.
Is presented by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Jeep. Find your summer of adventure with great deals at the Jeep Summer Clearance event.
Last night the Twins ended a losing streak. Tonight they hope to start building a winning streak and hope to start climbing the standings in the American League wild card race. 3.5 behind Los Angeles, Toronto right there, Baltimore a half game ahead of the Twins. Beautiful night for baseball in Cleveland. Glad you're with us. Dick Bramer along with Jack Morris. The Twins won last night, even though for the third straight game they gave up 9 runs. They're hoping Irvin Santana can give the Twins a good start here tonight.
Well, Irvin has pitched the 2 best games of the second half as far as I'm concerned. His 2 wins earlier in the second half, and he needs to get back into that kind of form. He had a little bit of a rough go in Toronto. Of course, all Twins pitchers did against the Blue Jays, but he's got a good chance to win a game against a team that really doesn't have a lot of big-name Major League players right now in the Cleveland Indians, so it should be a good one for Irvin.
And we all know the Twins lineup has struggled getting hits and scoring runs, but when they have gotten hits, it's typically been extra base hits.
Well, it's funny how that works. The Twins have really gone through a dry spell at times, but last night against, again, a guy that was their number 5 starter in Cody Anderson, the Twins were able to bust out and get a bunch of hits, and most of those hits were extra base hits. So whatever it is, they're going to go against a guy tonight with a little bit better stuff in Trevor Bauer, but either case, they're going to go out and swing the bats and hopefully have consistency.
It's been a couple of years since Irvin Santana's pitched against the Cleveland Indians, and truth be told, he hasn't really had a great deal of success against Cleveland, but the Twins are hoping he'll spin a good one up there tonight. At Progressive Field in Cleveland, clouds rolling in, but we have a very pleasant evening of baseball here. Jamie Hirsch, Jack Morris, Dick Bramer with the Twins. A couple games above the 500 mark within the division, primarily because they are 5-2 against Cleveland. As the Twins have won the first 2 series between these 2 teams, 2-1, and they won the opener last night. The Menards batting order for Game 2 has Brian Dozier leading off, Joe Mauer, Miguel Sano, Trevor Plouffe, Torrey Hunter, Eddie Rosario, Aaron Hicks, Kurt Suzuki, Eduardo Escobar.
And they're going to be facing right-hander Trevor Bauer. He's 8-8 on the year. He's made 22 starts for Cleveland, 5 starts against the Twins in his career. He's 0-3 with a .07 ERA. And so the Twins have had a pretty good stretch of games against Bauer. Maybe they can put another one together here tonight.
Dozier hasn't figured him out yet. Just 1 for 14 in his matchups with the Cleveland right-hander. And on the outside corner, a strike. Dozier with a home run last night, 24th of the year. Barring a skid over the last couple months, looks like Brian Dozier is going to be a 30 home run year guy this year. 1-1 with Mauer and Sano to follow. And down and away, 2-1.
You bring up an interesting point with Brian Dozier, and I still don't feel like he is a true home run hitter. He's not going up there looking to hit home runs. He's an opportunist, and he's got a lot of opportunities.
More than any other Twins hitter, he has a hot spot within the strike zone, and he won't hit them all out, but a very high percentage of those waist-high fastballs in the inner half of the plate are clobbered over the fence or off the fence.
Yeah, he's had the ability to turn on that pitch. He's quick inside, and he keeps his hands on top of the baseball, which is hard to do. A lot of pitchers will try to elevate on a lot of hitters, but Brian Dozier has shown that he can still keep his hands on top of the ball when he goes to the ball.
And he takes strike 3. And not very often you'll see Dozier take a look at a fastball with 2 strikes, but he does here, 1 down. And that'll bring up Mauer. Northland Ford defense for the Indians, and we said it last night, we'll say it again tonight. You won't recognize some of these names. Abraham Almonte just called up today. He's in center field. Chisenhall, Bradley flank him in the outfield. Urshela, Lindor left side of the infield. Ramirez, Santana on the right side. And Perez behind the plate. Bauer lifting it to the left field corner fairly deep and just foul, just short of the foul pole, and just a foot or 2 foul. 1 strike.
Trevor Bauer has a variety of pitches. He can throw 2 fastballs and 2 changeups, 2 seamers and 4 seamers, and he also has a curveball and slider, so he will show 6 different pitches. Basically it's 3. It's fastball, changeup, and breaking ball, but he has a very good breaking ball when he can command it, and he can run the fastball up there in the mid-90s, so he's got a big arm. The Twins have had pretty good success against him.
1 strike to Mauer, and now a ball. Joe with a hit in the ball game last night, a single to left, his last at bat. Nice foul over the Cleveland dugout.
Nice play. Young Goy brought his glove and jumped and leaped and protected a couple people behind him. Nice play. Made it worthwhile to bring the glove. Some people bring it, have no apparent use for it.
Woman down the left field line wished her husband had brought the glove. Here's a blast to right center field. Up and gone. A home run for Mauer. His 7th of the year, and the Twins get another extra base hit.
Haven't seen that much from Joe this year, but he was able to turn on one. I noticed in batting practice today he actually tried to hit a few home runs, and he did. And that was just like the swings in batting practice. He jumped all over that. Fastball down the middle.
Mauer just missed hitting a home run down the left field line. Now he clobbers one to right center field. And fan in right center field wish that he had brought a glove. 1-0 to Miguel Sano. We're going to run with a double last night. And now up 2-0. Fouled back. Paul Molitor, meeting with the media today, talked of Sano's consistency of at bats. Now, the young man strikes out an awful lot. Probably will always strike out quite a bit. 99 at bats, 41 strikeout. Just off the plate, 3-1. But counts like this, the ability to take close pitches. And Paul said that's why he feels comfortable batting Sano third. Lifted down the right field line and foul 3-2. That in this lineup that has had a lot of struggling hitters since the All-Star break, it is Sano, the least experienced hitter on the team, that's given the Twins the most consistent at bats.
Well, you're always wanting your potentially best power hitter batting third or fourth in the lineup.
And on the ground, couple of hops to the second baseman Ramirez. Sano throw, 2 down. And that'll bring us to Trevor Plouffe.
For Minnesota, the third baseman, number 24, Trevor Plouffe.
Trevor's kept his batting average in the 250 range, 15 home runs. Twins jumping in front on a Mauer home run. Plouffe's career high in home runs, 24. That was done back in 2012. Remember, he had that early summer home run binge that he went on, running parallel with Josh Willinghams that year. But in that year, he hit just 235, and over the last 2 years, coming into this year, he's hit in the 250 range, and he'll try to do that again this year. And then you get to the point where you begin to acknowledge what type of player, what type of hitter Trevor Plouffe is. When they start doing the same thing for about 3 years in a row, then you have every reason to expect that.
He's done a lot better job of hitting the ball the other way, especially driving the ball. A lot of his doubles have come to right center field, which is a good indication that he's staying on the pitches. When he was younger, you didn't see very many of those at all.
Up and away, 3-1. Bauer struggling with his strike throwing here in this first inning. Plouffe takes a walk, and that'll bring up Hunter. Corey Hunter last night, 3 hits, game-winning home run in the 9th inning, and after the age of 40, he got a stolen base.
Yeah, joining his manager is the only 40-year-old players in Twins history. The home run and stolen base in the same game, and that's some pretty elite company, really. A couple of fossils.
Hunter with 18 home runs, and maybe the most important one last night. Last night's loss on the heels of 5 in a row. A trip to the mound by Perez. On the heels of 5 losses in a row and a 4-game sweep in Toronto, last night's loss would have really crippled whatever chances the Twins had at the time of getting off the floor and becoming a factor in the race. Quick trip to the mound by Perez. But Hunter wouldn't let it happen. Mike Pelfrey himself said it just felt like Torrey wasn't going to let the team lose last night.
Brian Dozier got a big home run to tie it, and then Torrey got the big home run to win it.
You can do well within your division when you have players who do well within the division. Trevor May's been awesome against the White Sox, and Torrey Hunter has been great hitting against the Indians this year. That's why the Twins are leading the season series against both those teams. 2-0. 3-0 with Rosario on deck.
I don't think it goes unnoticed, though, and we should probably mention this, that even though they're playing a major league team in a major league city in a major league ballpark, the level of player out there right here is way different than the city they just came from.
And a 4-pitch walk to Hunter. And the Twins might not be done here in the first inning. A pair of 2-out walks, and Rosario will have a chance.
There are a lot of young players in the lineup tonight for Cleveland. They're kind of in a different mode. I don't know if it's a rebuilding mode. I don't know what you would call it, but they have decided to get rid of some of their veteran players here. And there's got a couple veterans that are hurt, and there is a lot of youth on the field for Cleveland tonight.
You know, in the Toronto series, the Twins were overmatched in terms of experience in most spots in the batting order, and the Twins have the advantage in that category here against Cleveland. They're rebuilding. A young and an inexperienced left side of the infield.
Trevor Bauer, like so many young pitchers today, pregame goes out and he throws about 20 pitches, 25 pitches to his catcher, about 90% out in center field on the grass. They call it flat work. I consider it flat ridiculous that they don't go to the mound in the bullpen and throw downhill like they will in the game.
And now a ball. He's always been on his own program, and that was one of the issues in Arizona. The Indians have given him the latitude to do his own thing here. 1-0 to Rosario.
I just think if he would have spent those 20 pitches off a mound, his command would be a little bit better here in the first inning.
Fouled back, 1-1.
About 6:17, which is a good half hour before the game starts. He starts his ritual. Of course, one of the new things to do is listen to your own music while you get ready.
Probably would have done that. What Carpenters, I would imagine you would have listened to.
Well, your favorite ABBA.
Foul back, 1-2. Don't get me started on that. They're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm boycotting the Hall of Fame because of that. 1-2 to Rosario. The Twins with one on the board. They'd like to take advantage of Bauer's wildness here. He's about to throw his 29th pitch with 2 outs in the first.
Now, Rosario, we talked about it, how he's up there amongst rookie for triples, and he could drive in 2 with another triple right here and tie the team record.
2 of them last night. 1-2 from Bauer to Rosario. Not close. Landed several feet in front of home plate. 2-2.
The funny thing with routines and things that you do, everybody ignores them. Everybody's fine with it when you go out and dominate and win. But when you're scuffling and things don't go your way and you have innings like Bauer's had in the first inning, it raises eyebrows.
Poked down the left field line. It'll be a long run for Brantley, but it's a foul ball. Rosario with a 2-2 count. High fastball guy. Twins leave 2 aboard. They get a first inning home run from Joe Mauer, and they'll hand Irvin Santana a 1-0 lead for the bottom of the first. first year as manager, a disappointing second year, a lot of injuries. And some of the same issues last year have resurfaced this year. Here's his Menards batting order. Jose Ramirez, Francisco Lindor, Michael Brantley, Carlos Santana, Yan Gomes, Lonnie Chisenhall, Giovanni Urshela, Abraham Almonte, and Roberto Perez.
They're going to be facing right-hander Irvin Santana. He's making his 7th start this year. He suffered his 2nd consecutive loss in his game last time out up in Toronto, but he's had 17 career starts against Cleveland, and he's 3-9 with a 4.09 ERA. He has had 2 of the better starts in the second half for the Twins, so maybe today he can get back on a winning track.
Ball 1, now ball 2. Ramirez started the game last night for the Indians with a double off the center field fence. Didn't score. And a strike, and we had all sorts of run scoring last night. 10-9 final. And then I get back to the hotel room last night, and all I can think about is the Twins won by 1 run, and it might have been the run the Indians did not get in the first inning. And now Ramirez lines one to left center field. Hicks backhands Ramirez with a big turn. He'll hold up with a single. Leadoff hit for Ramirez. That'll bring up Lindor and give us an opportunity to bring you the Northland Ford defense. Eddie Rosario's in left. Aaron Hicks is in center. Torrey Hunter in right. Plouffe, Escobar, Dozier, Mauer around the infield. Suzuki back behind the plate. And Hunter with a big night at the plate last night. Back in right field. Soft throw to first. Ramirez checked there last night. Ramirez doubled, was sacrificed to third, and then on a ground ball to short, Ramirez backpedaled toward third, then froze, tried to score, and the Twins ended up with a 6-3-2 double play. Mike Pelfrey faced just 3 men as it turned out in that first inning. And it's a run the Indians should have had. They didn't get it, and it cost them at the end of the game. There's another bunt by Lindor. Foul, 1 strike.
Lindor got the bunt down yesterday and advanced the runner, which created a scoring opportunity. Irvin Santana so far this season has not allowed a first inning run, and he I think we appreciate the fact that he's a fast worker. He slows down a bit when there's runners on. He's got to check the runners, but out of the windup he gets the ball and throws the ball.
1-1 to Lindor. Indians have turned the page, obviously, on 2015, looking to the future. Lindor getting a chance to play on a regular basis. They're counting on him being a fixture at short for many years to come.
Well, we also talked about it last night. He was a high draft choice and came up through the Cleveland minor league system.
There's a bunt, a good one, and Santana lobs it to Mauer. So Lindor in back-to-back games asked to sacrifice in the very first inning. Taking a page from the Gene Mauch managerial textbook. Down a run here in the first inning. Lindor still puts the ball on the ground.
I thought you brought up a good point in between innings last night about the sacrifice bunt. So many players in today's game, really so many people in today's game, just believe that it's a waste of time, that you should go up there and swing the bat and try to get runners around that way. But it also creates more than just 1 run in so many situations. The Twins ended up getting 6 runs after a sacrifice bunt.
Ball 1 down and in to Brantley. Yeah, the theory that you, in dropping down a bunt, giving up an out, you're playing for 1 run. In history, I wonder how many times it's been just 1 run, how many times it's been one of the crooked numbers we talk about. 6 last night for the Twins. 1-0 to Brantley. And now a strike. With men in scoring position, Brantley's been excellent again this year, so you understand perhaps the logic in getting Ramirez into scoring position with one of the league's best hitting next. Down and in, 2-1. Talked about the Twins and their record within the division, a couple ticks above the 500 mark. That's been the biggest issue for Cleveland. They are 15-29 within the division. They have a losing record against everybody in the American League Central. Again, in Terry Francona's first year, they did very well, particularly in the second half within the division.
Yeah, they really did. And they had a veteran leader in the clubhouse in Jason Giambi. That was a guy that was almost like an extra coach. Didn't get to play a whole lot, pinch hit once in a while. But Terry Francona has always acknowledged what Giambi meant to that team.
And 2 years ago, he talked about changing the culture in Cleveland to a winning culture, and then you followed up with a couple of disappointing years. And ultimately, what changes a losing culture is a sequence of winning seasons.
They really feel that they have tremendous starting pitching, and I wouldn't disagree with that, with Carrasco and Bauer and of course Corey Kluber. I mean, they've got some good arms out there. Danny Salazar can throw it around 100 miles an hour, so they need hitting.
Pass Mauer into right field. The sacrifice bunt pays off, and the Indians have tied it up. Brantley grounding a single between Dozier and Mauer, and it's one apiece.
We talked about it last night, how Michael Brantley is kind of the cornerstone of this ball team. You know, Jason Kipnis had a great first half, was selected to the All-Star team, but Brantley has been a guy that's done it year in and year out for a while, and he showed why here tonight.
Carlos Santana will bat. Twins go deep, get a run, and the Indians play small ball and answer quickly in the bottom of the first. Strike that covers the inside corner.
And that's the first run in the first inning that Irvin Santana has allowed this year.
Figures that it would be in Cleveland because Santana here at Progressive Field, in all his starts for all the different teams that he's played for, pitched for here, he's 1-6 with an ERA of 5.44 here at Progressive Field. Runner goes, and Santana's throw not nearly in time. Escobar has to reach in front of the bag for the throw. It's a stolen base for Brantley.
Now Kurt Suzuki had to reach for that ball. Great jump. Brantley just, he's not the fastest guy, but he's a smart base runner and got a great read there and a super good jump. Stole that one off of the pitcher.
1-1 now to Santana. Checked his swing and took a low. A few years ago, Joe Mauer was still catching, and the American League Central was loaded with really good catching. There's a ball walloped to right. It'll get to Hunter in a hurry, and Brantley will be held at third. So Santana struggling, having given up 3 singles here in the bottom of the first. The one win that Santana had was a memorable one.
He threw a no-hitter in this ballpark while still a member of the Los Angeles Angels.
Santana in the first inning jam is yet to get a ground ball double play in his 6 starts. He's a fly ball pitcher. He'll try to at least retire Gomes, hopefully in the process keep Brantley at third.
Well, Yan Gomes has really been good against the Twins. Got a couple key hits in last night's game. Home run and a single.
1 strike to Gomes. 1 for 3 against Santana, a home run and 2 strikeouts. Santana would like to get a strikeout. Missed inside. And the Twins have given up 9 runs in each of the last 3 games. The team ERA is taking a pounding on this road trip. High pop up right side. Dozier with a play. Brantley has nowhere to go. 2 down. That'll bring up Chisenhall. Twins left 2 men aboard in the top of the first, and now Santana hoping to strand Brantley and Santana. Irvin Santana hoping to strand Carlos Santana.
Well, like Trevor Bauer, Irvin Santana has thrown quite a few pitches early in this ball game. This is his 20th pitch coming up.
Chisenhall, a transplanted infielder, now playing in the outfield, right field for the Indians. On the outside corner, strike 1. Chisenhall in his matchups against Irvin Santana, 0 for 8. Bauer struggled in the first, and now Santana about to throw his 21st pitch. Pulled foul. Two strikes. Fourth hit of the inning. Brantley scores from third, and it's 2-1 Cleveland. A rough start here for Irvin Santana as he's getting cuffed around here in the first inning, having already given up 4 singles.
Watch this pitch here. The ball seemed to be down and in, which I guess it was, but Chisenhall went down after it and was able to drive it past a diving Joe Mauer. Ball could have been in a little bit more. It was left out over the plate. It was down in the zone there.
And now Giovanni Urshela. Big swing and a miss.
That's the location that Irvin wants to have that slider.
Down the right field line, foul. So far, Santana against left-handed batters has allowed just a 162 batting average, 277 against righties, but it's the left-handed batters who've done all the damage here in the first inning with the 4 hits. Switch hitters Ramirez and Santana. It's blocked by Suzuki. And Brantley and Chisenhall. They've all singled. 1-2 for the rookie third baseman. And now 2-2. And now Santana climbing toward 30 pitches in the first inning.
Well, he moved his feet. You don't see that very often.
Tap to the left side, and Escobar over to Bauer. That ends the inning. Had a long game last night. The first inning tonight lasts a half an hour.
Aaron Hicks will lead off the second inning for the Twins, and he continues to look very comfortable at the plate. Another 3 hits for him last night. And I asked his hitting coach, Tom Bernansky, about the biggest change that he's noticed in the last few weeks with Aaron Hicks. He used the word maturity, and he said, I understand that's a vague term, but Aaron has developed his routine this year. He said he understands his swing, and he especially knows what his body is going to do in big-time situations when his heart starts to race and how that affects his swing. He said, sure, he'll still strike out sometimes in big spots, but he doesn't get down on himself the way that he used to. Bruno said that he had to go through a lot of failure to learn this, and he doesn't want him to forget those times of failure, guys, but rather use it as a teachable moment for when those slumps inevitably come again, guys.
Thank you, Jamie. The average up to 285. And there's a bunt to third. Urshela has it go right by him. Hicks charges to first and goes past the bag. It'll be a bunt single for Aaron Hicks, and that long distance is going to please Rod Carew. Now Terry Francona coming out, and I'm wondering whether he's questioning Hicks's placement when he made contact with the ball.
Yeah, that's the latest thing that managers have been questioning, whether or not their feet are still in the box when they make contact. And they
front
were.
Foot was out, it looked like.
It was on the line. It's funny because umpires come out. First thing they do before the game, they erase the lines that they're in. And hitters can come out and erase the lines. So I don't know as though this is something that they are going to enforce much.
Well, we mentioned it the other night in Toronto when Ben Revere was at the plate, and Revere bunted, and he had his foot, his left foot in this case, right on the back line, or the corner of the batter's box, a legal position. Here's Suzuki. Back to Bauer, and that takes care of the bump. 2 down. And Paul Molitor, when I asked him about reviewing plays in the infield, that was the first play he mentioned. Bunts. It's a hot button issue, as you said, for some of the managers, because in addition to the bunting fundamentals deteriorating over the years, sometimes the bunts themselves are actually illegal. 2 down.
I don't believe in the front and back lines in the batter's box. I don't think it really has any significance. The lines that matter are the ones parallel to the plate and behind the hitters. As long as they stay in that zone, I think all is fair in love and war. The ones that are, the back one always gets erased. The front one sometimes does.
Strike call, 1-1 to Escobar.
I think if a guy throws changeups all the time, a hitter should step 20 feet in front of home plate. Say, go ahead. I remember Don Baylor said one time, he says, why don't you just come off the mound and start throwing from the dirt or from the grass?
Hook foul.
He was so frustrated with changeups from a pitcher that he wanted the pitcher to throw on the grass so that it looked faster.
And Escobar strikes out. Twins get a bunt single from Hicks, but send just 3 men to the plate in the second. And he'll face Abraham Almonte to lead off the second. Let's go back to 2011. Santana threw a no-hitter, even though it was not a shutout. He gave up an unearned run in the first inning. The blast to right center field. And that will get by Hicks. One hop the wall. And Abraham Almonte in his first at bat for the Indians cracks a double on the first pitch. Almonte came over from the Padres at the end of July for Mark Zipchinski. Originally signing with the Yankees in 2005, traded to the Mariners. Spent a year and a half in that organization, acquired by San Diego last year at the trade deadline. Santana with 5 hits allowed in the first 8 at bats.
Another pitch up in the zone. And Santana's effective. Like most pitchers, he's down around the knees.
Well, the Indians bunted after a leadoff single in the first, and now squaring to bunt the number 9 batter. Perez takes a strike.
Yan Gomes getting the day off behind the dish. He's DHing and Perez is catching.
1-1. Indians were 1 for 2 in sacrifice attempts last night. Later in the game, a bunt was popped up. Outside, now 2-1. Santana lacking command here, and that's been the biggest issue in these recent run of games, with the Twins giving up runs in bunches, first in Toronto and even last night against the Indians. And Perez takes strike 2 on a pitch that covered the inside corner. Two and 2, and Santana stares down the runner at second. Perez gets time at the plate. Grounded to third. Plouffe looks the runner back, fires across, and Perez, who took 2 strikes in a bunting situation, ends up grounding out, leaving Almonte at second. 1 away. Praise FM invites you to Faith Night in 2015, a post-game event following the August 29th game between the Twins and the Astros. Enjoy the game, then stay for post-game live music from Unite Twin Cities and special Twins player appearances. For details and tickets, visit twinsbaseball.com/Faith Night. Here's Jose Ramirez. Singleton scored last inning. Strike in the outside corner. Ramirez with a couple of leadoff hits in each game, but the batting average still below 200. Dreadful batting average with men in scoring position. Down and in.
He hasn't had a lot of time against Ervin Santana coming into the game. He was 1 for 2, so now he's 2 for 3 against Ervin.
To right center field again. And that'll score a run as it rolls to the wall, and this time Ramirez wants 3. He's got a triple, and it's 3-1. 10 at bats into this game, and the Indians have peppered Ervin Santana for 6 hits. And a couple of extra base hits here in the second.
Again, a ball that's thrown right down the heart of the plate. And the Twins had shaded him over towards left field a little bit, hoping that Santana would pitch him down and away, and he leaves that one middle of the plate. And Ramirez is on his horse.
And now inside with the infield in. Lindor, a couple of sacrifice bunts, not above Terry Francona. I don't suppose to try a squeeze here. To left, and Rosario has to backpedal. Now comes in. Here's the throw, and it's a sacrifice fly, and the Indians back up a 2-run first with at least 2 here in the second. Santana's either been really good this year or really bad, and this has been a really bad start. Gave up 3 runs, couple of home runs over 6 innings. Technically a quality start at the Rogers Center earlier in this road trip.
Well, he's really had a tough time in today's game keeping the ball down and having that breaking ball of his be crisp. He's not real sharp with his slider.
Up front with an off-speed pitch.
It seems like when the games that he was pitching well in, he was either really good with his slider or really good with his changeup, and he's kind of trying to find out which one is going to work for him best here tonight.
And strike to Brantley. This has not been a good road trip for the Twins, but the road trip right out of the break wasn't good. The Twins won just 2 games, but Santana started and won them both. In Oakland, in Los Angeles, or in Anaheim against the Angels.
Well, they came out and started Irvin to open up the second half, and he won that first game against Oakland, and then the Twins had a chance to win the second game. I think that really is kind of what maybe put him in a little spiral on the first road trip.
1-2 to Brantley. I tend to look back at that game too as being more than just one loss. When you think about it, Santana pitched his game in Oakland. The Twins win. They were 50-40. Had the second or third, I forget, best record in the American League, and looked like they had picked up right where they left off going into the break. But then that late inning loss to Oakland, when it looked like they were going to steal one against Oakland, only to have it stolen back by the A's. And the team really has had a tough time stringing anything together since.
Well, on this road trip, the defense has stood around quite a bit. It's been long half innings for them.
That's a fair ball right over the bag. Brantley has his second hit, and it's a double. Fan reaching over. And the Indians are knocking Irvin Santana all over Progressive Field here. 7 hits already. And in this inning alone, 3 extra base hits.
Yeah, and they haven't been cheap ones either. This one gets by Mauer. He's playing well off the line, goes right over the bag.
Since the All-Star break, Twins don't have nearly enough wins, just 6 of them, and they haven't won back-to-back games since the break. Here's Carlos Santana. 4 Cleveland singles in the first inning, and Irvin Santana misses outside. Twins can ill afford another short start. Pelfrey couldn't get through 4 innings last night. Twins bullpen bolstered with the addition of A.J. Ochter, carrying 9 pitchers right now, 9 relief pitchers. Just a 4-man rotation right now. Big swing and a foul, 1-2.
Neil Allen kind of scratching his head, wondering what he can do to help this rotation. The starters have really struggled on this trip. The bullpen's been used in every game.
It's really taken a toll statistically on this Twins pitching staff. 1-2. And Santana strikes out. The Indians with 3 extra base hits in the second inning and 2 more runs. They lead 4-1.
1 deficit. They might need Brian Dozier to flex his muscles a little bit.
Well, Brian did it last night. He tied the game with that home run right there. His 24th of the year, most ever by a second baseman in Twins history.
Brian took a 3-2 fastball down the middle for a strikeout to start the game. Now just 1 for 15 against Trevor Bauer. There's a strike on the outside corner. Dozier, Mauer, and Sano. Twins jumped out in front last night, 6-0, and nothing happened in the blink of an eye last night. But before Mike Pelfrey could get 6 outs, the Indians had 8 runs on the outside corner, 1 and 2.
Well, Bauer starts getting on a roll. He's going to be tough. He's got some plus pitches. His curveball, his fastball, got a good changeup.
And a check swing. And home plate umpire Mike Everett calling him out. This is just the latest example of something that needs to change. From up here, it didn't look like Dozier came close to committing at that pitch.
Yeah, maybe they could implement an automatic rule here where the home plate umpire has to check the third or first base umpire to see. Dozier didn't even come close.
That's terrible. And it takes all of 3 seconds to check with a base ump. And you end up with the umpire taking the bat out of the man's hands.
Yeah, the manager can't go out and argue this or defend his player at all, because that's questioning a pitch. You can't question the pitches from a manager standpoint. Paul got thrown out of a game earlier because of that.
That was the worst example of what we've seen. It started on opening day with Joe West and Torrey Hunter.
So, Joe Torre, if you're watching, we suggest that maybe you implement that rule.
At what cost? Again, it takes 3 seconds to point to a base ump and get a better angle than Mike Everett could have possibly had. And you're right, Paul Molitor already has been ejected. One of his 2 ejections this year is over that very same thing. And you can see Dozier still shaking his head. 2-2 to Mauer. And now Everett will call that strike 3, and that time it looked like Joe went. Couple of check swing strikeouts, 2 down. And we'll bring up Sano. Time now for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Hashtag North Data Strong Fan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Base is empty for Sano. And Sano fouls it back.
Now with that strikeout and a little help from Mike Everett, Bauer's got 5 already. 2 outs here in the 3rd inning.
Swing and a miss, 2 strikes. Sano bounced to second his first time up. Up the middle. Backhanded by Ramirez, and no play. And Sano gets a 2-out infield single. And that'll bring up Plouffe. Plouffe drew a walk his first time up. The Twins had the Mauer home run to get on the board in the first, and then a pair of 2-out walks, 1 to Plouffe, 1 to Hunter. But then Rosario struck out on a high fastball, and that was the end of the extended threat.
They've pieced together 1 hit per inning so far.
Mauer's home run. Hicks's leadoff single in the second. Now Sano's 2-out hit. Strike on the outside corner. One and one. trying to answer a pair of 2-run innings for Cleveland. Perez digs one out. 2-1. Sano's doing a little gardening over there.
Santana giving him a little bit of grief, saying, "Where are you going anyway, kid?"
Swing and a miss. 2-2.
Go with the fastball away again.
On the outside corner. And an inning dominated by Mike Everett, the home plate umpire, with Trevor Bauer striking out the side. Don't miss. MLB Whip Around on Fox Sports 1. Highlights, instant analysis, and live look-ins from around the league. MLB Whip Around weeknights at 6 p.m. Central on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Urban Santana is going to try to find something here. He's really struggled in his first 2 innings, giving up 7 hits, 4 runs. He'll face Yan Gomes to start the 3rd.
Yeah, he could use a quick inning, low pitch inning.
Slider was his best pitch in his 2 wins on that West Coast road trip, and he misses with 1 here to start the Gomes at bat. Another one misses. 2-0. Gomes with a pop up to Dozier's first time up. Do you ever have a ballpark that you just, we know you dominated in the Metrodome early in your career, but did you have a ballpark that you just didn't feel comfortable? The results weren't there. It just, you always wanted the ball, but you almost dreaded to pitch in one particular ballpark?
Yeah, it was Camden Yards. And more important, the main reason, you felt great on the mound because the home plate was right in front of the crowd. So you felt like you were really there, but there was no foul territory.
And Santana, again here, his only win was his no-hitter, 6 losses, an ERA of about 5.5, and he issues a leadoff walk to Gomes in the 3rd.
53 pitches as we start the bottom half of the third inning to lead off walk. It's been a struggle for Ervin Santana today. He just has not found the command of his breaking ball, his changeup, or his fastball.
Leadoff man's been on in all 3 innings. Here's Chisenhall. Gave the Indians a 2-1 lead with a single in the first. Mauer bobbles it and will get the out at first. The bobble cost him the lead runner. He still thought about throwing, but by that time the runner Gomes had closed in on second base. One down.
Joe just took his head off the ball momentarily, looking ahead to the throwing it down to second base. And you see Gomes kind of run on the inside part of the line. That's legal. He can run there.
Good awareness by the runner. He kind of took the throwing lane away.
The angle away. Yep. And Joe is one of those first basemen that when he doesn't have a lane, he won't throw to the glove side or the arm side of the shortstop.
1-0 to Urshela. And a hot ground ball up the middle. And the Twins unable to get the lead runner. They're going to send Gomes, and Hicks will fire it to second base. The Twins' inability to get the lead runner on the Chisenhall ground balls cost Santana another run here in the third.
Yeah, a combination of a little miscue, a little bobble, and a leadoff walk. And again, Santana gives up another run.
5-1. Pitch down out of the strike zone. Indians 5 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Both numbers are a little alarming. There's only 1 out in the third, and the Indians have already had 8 at bats with runners in scoring position. Up and away. Abraham Almonte, the first pitch he saw in a Cleveland uniform, cracked a double leading off the second. There is no activity in the Twins bullpen. The ball blasted to left, and Almonte has another extra base hit. Runner will be held at third. A pair of doubles on 3 pitches for Almonte in his Cleveland debut.
Talking to some of the Cleveland people before the game, they really didn't have any kind of scouting report on Almonte. They didn't really know what he was going to be able to bring to them. And to kind of quote them, we'll just have to wait and see. Well, you see that he can drive the ball over the gaps. It's his second one to right center, 1 to left center.
17 at bats, 9 hits. The Twins have no choice but to bring the infield in, and they'll have no choice but to start warming up J.R. Graham in the Twins bullpen. Up high. Beg your pardon, a strike called up high to Roberto Perez. It's already 5-1. And Santana's got to pitch his tail off here in the third inning to keep the lead from mushrooming any further. Off the end of the bat, 2 strikes. Perez tried to bunt. At least was asked to bunt. He never offered it a pitch. He took 2 strikes and then hit a 2-hopper to Plouffe. At the time it looked like that might be a big out. Graham. But then the Indians got a triple and a double later in the inning to score 2 runs anyway. Nice stop by Suzuki. Ball landed 4 feet in front of the plate.
It's been a struggle. Ervin pulling that breaking ball down. He's had just a tough time finding his command and location, his release point. All those things happen to a pitcher occasionally, and today just doesn't look like he's going to find it.
The team ERA has ballooned to 4.11. It's 12th in a 15-team league. A lot of that based on the last 4 ball games. Last 2 in Toronto last night, and this game is not going to help the team's ERA at all.
Well, and you talked about last night's game, a 10-9 game, so that doesn't help your team ERA. You give up 9 runs in a winning effort.
1-2. Santana needing a strikeout, but he's having a hard time not giving up hits. Down and away. 2-2.
One of the things that I look at from Irvin, he doesn't seem to have the pop, the velocity in his fastball that we've seen in a couple of his starts. And a lot of times everything revolves around that arm speed and the velocity.
2-2. And he would be the one guy you'd think that would not be an issue for, given the fact he didn't pitch in the first half. Twins were disappointed as they were with the suspension and his absence in the first 80 games.
He has touched 95.
Okay.
With his fastball, which is as good as he gets, so he just hasn't thrown a lot of fastballs.
2-2 to Perez, 1 out. He might be hanging in the balance here already in the 3rd inning. And now he's in danger of walking the number 9 batter. But the hope was Santana was going to bring to the Twins a fresh arm and be a welcome addition to the rotation. And it looked on the West Coast road trip like that was going to be the case, but that's not been the case here tonight. 3-2. Wow. And now they're loaded up with Jose Ramirez in the 3rd inning, making his 3rd plate appearance.
Second walk of the game, second walk this inning. Neil Allen's going to come out and try to settle him down a little bit.
It has been a very disappointing road trip in terms of the starting pitching. Pelfrey couldn't get through 4 innings, and Santana's wobbling mightily here in the 3rd after giving up 2 in the first, 2 in the 2nd. Ramirez has already singled and tripled, scored 2 runs and driven in 1.
Yeah, on this road trip, over all the games, Santana went the deepest at 6 innings.
Fouled back a strike.
His last start in Toronto, and that was against David Price, who won again today for Toronto.
6-0, the Blue Jay win over New York. And the Blue Jays now just 2.5 games behind the Yankees. Twins hoping for a ground ball double play. Corner infielders are up. And the pitch is down. 1-1. '69th pitch coming up. And Santana has recorded just 7 outs. One of those given to him on a sacrifice bunt. Two and 1. Mike Pelfrey in the 4th inning last night issued a bases loaded walk.
Well, if he doesn't somehow have something good happen here, this could be his last hitter.
Bases full and a 3-1 count. A line drive past Escobar. It'll score 2 more. 3rd hit for Ramirez. He may get credit for a double, and already in the 3rd inning be 3/4 of the way to the cycle.
Yep.
And they're going to have to come out and get Irvin Santana here. He's getting knocked all over the ballpark. Here comes Paul Molitor. And an awful, awful outing for the Twins right-hander. Urshela and Almonte score. This is a Cleveland lineup that does not have many accomplished major league hitters. The guys that have done him in are guys like Ramirez, Urshela, Almonte, and Irvin Santana with a dreadful night here in Cleveland. Third inning. Twins already down 7-1, and J.R. Graham will be asked to pitch through the middle innings, one would suspect, in a game that has very quickly turned lopsided in Cleveland's favor. And Graham's been in this role before. 30th game of the year. And Graham in his outing in Toronto pitched 2 1/3 innings, gave up a 3-run home run. He's given up 7 runs in his last 3 outings, covering a total of 6 innings.
Well, it seems like when things start going south, all aspects of the game can kind of balloon. Twins went through a tough spell where they weren't getting a whole lot of runs, and now the pitching is just being exposed a little bit.
Second and third, there's still a lot of work to be done here to keep this game somewhat within reach. 3 runs in the third. Twins bring the infield halfway in. Runner at third, Perez doesn't run well. Might have been a busted bat and a ground ball foul, 1 strike. Tyler Duffy gave the Twins a very short start in Game 3 in Toronto. Kyle Gibson didn't have the best of starts in Toronto. Last night, Mike Pelfrey, and now Irvin Santana, already gone with just 7 outs recorded. 1 strike to Francisco Lindor. Sacrifice bunt and a sacrifice fly. 1-1. Two and one. Pulled foul, and it's 2-2. Graham can throw mid-90s and can strike some people out, and the Twins need one here after the Indians pretty much have done everything but hit a home run.
There's your favorite guy. Having a bad day, and then you get to listen to your favorite guy out there.
I got no problem with him. I think it's a neat thing. Generally hasn't meant good things for the Twins over the years, but I'm sure he could care less about that. Up high, and now 3-2. People here in Cleveland probably weren't too fond of the Homer Hanky in Minnesota all those years.
Well, he's been here a long time. The old ballpark.
Fly ball, very short right field. Hunter coming in. And Perez just, well, he is coming through. Here's the throw from Hunter. And it's over the cutoff man. Perez lumbering home. I was surprised they even sent him, but they did. And then Torrey made the mistake of airmailing the throw. And Perez scores. It's a 4-run inning. And on the overthrow, Ramirez goes to third. So Lindor's had an interesting night. A sacrifice bunt and 2 sacrifice flies. Well, a mistake by Hunter, but
not sure even if he would have hit the cutoff man. Perez got down the line pretty good there. The ball was deep enough that it was worth a challenge. Mike Sarbo, third base coach, sending him.
Brantley, and he takes a strike. Twins had a 1-0 lead, and Ramirez started the first inning with a single, and Terry Francona had Lindor drop down a sacrifice bunt because Brantley's so good with men in scoring position, and sure enough, Brantley delivered the game-tying single, and the Indians haven't looked back since. One and one. Runs, 10 hits. Strike called on the inside corner. Twins pitching's recorded only 8 outs so far.
No easy innings yet for the Twins staff.
Off the mound, flips to Mauer, that takes care of the Indians in the third. Pitching change for the Twins and 4 runs for the Indians. Inning, and on this date, our Coors timeless moment in 1998, Paul Molitor became just the 5th player in Major League history to have at least 3,000 hits and 500 steals. You talk about a select group. After his 5-for-5 performance and the theft of his 500th base, he was 41 years old. He joined Ty Cobb, Hannes Wagner, Eddie Collins, and Lou Brock as the only players to reach that milestone. And we're talking, Cobb, Wagner, and Collins, back almost 100 years before Paul played. And then Lou Brock was not a contemporary of Paul's, but at least Paul grew up watching him. A couple of hops, sharply hit. And Hunter's retired, 1 down here in the 4th. And that'll bring up Eddie Rosario. Carsoup.com trivia question. Which American League player has the most career home runs after turning 40 years of age? And we had Jim Thome hit a lot of them for the Twins. Alex Rodriguez is hitting a lot of them for the Yankees. But I have an earthly clue as to who the correct answer might be. Inside ball 1. Carl Yastrzemski played until past his 40th birthday, I believe. Rosario pops it up. It'll reach the seats. Eddie Murray. How old was Eddie when he quit?
Right around 40-ish. That's a tough one. There's a lot of guys that played right at or around 40 years old.
1-1. Well, when we get the answer, we'll probably both go, oh, that was easy. We'll want to kick ourselves, but instead, I'll kick you and you kick me. Okay?
Let's go kick the drummer out there.
There's a ball stroked to right center, and Rosario has a hit, and he will hold up with a single and get back to first after the second baseman Ramirez throws over there. A 1-out single for Rosario.
Again, that's the 4th inning in a row that the Twins have had at least 1 hit, but they haven't been able to put more than that together. Rosario being aggressive rounding first, and you realize, you don't mind that as a manager. A kid being aggressive, they drop or bobble the ball, he goes into second base.
I'll bet you Paul Molitor would say that's exactly how he wants his runners to round the bag. Threaten to go to second, maybe force an error. Hicks hooks one down the line, foul. One strike. Hicks dropped down a sacrifice bunt leading off the second. It was a good play. Twins were down just 2-1 at the time. But then on the very next pitch, Suzuki hit a comebacker to Bauer. And a 1-6-3 took care of Hicks and Suzuki. Checked his swing.
We mentioned that Aaron had 3 hits in last night's game with an RBI and a double, 2 singles. He's had many multi-hit games here in the second half.
Hicks and Mike Everett talking about something. Not sure what, maybe leaving the batter's box. 1-1. Byron Buxton playing center field for Rochester tonight. Has walked, stolen a base, went 3 for 5 last night. And the people who were at the game say he actually beat out a ground ball. Actually went 4 for 5, but no replay in a minor league game. High fly, center field, playable for Almonte. 2 down. So it looks like there's a very good chance that in the near future the Twins will have an outfield that will have both Hicks and Buxton in the lineup. Here's our Sanford Health injury report. He DH'd last night. Leading off, playing center field tonight. Went out with a sprained left thumb in late June.
Interesting to see when and where or how long it'll be before Aaron Hicks is back here at the big league level. Excuse me, Byron Buxton.
And where everybody's going to play. I think the Twins like Rosario enough in left field to maybe just leave him there, even though left field is bigger at target field than right field. And then Hicks has some experience in right field earlier this year in Rochester.
It may be the case where Torrey Hunter platoons a little bit with him to rest Torrey. And I think it has a lot to do with whether or not the Twins can start winning some ball games and be in the chase for the wild card, or if they just keep slipping out of it.
1-1 to Suzuki. Fouled back 1-2. The biggest issue, the Twins have struggled to score runs, but the Twins aren't going to be playing meaningful games much longer if the starting pitching doesn't get better. It's another very ineffective start for Irvin Santana. One and two to the Twins catcher. That's deep down the left field line. Suzuki lifts one up and over. A 2-run home run for the Twins catcher. And it's 8-3.
Well, baby steps, you never know. It happened last night. The Twins were able to muster 10 runs and win a game. And there's still plenty of ball game left. Kurt Suzuki got something that he was able to drive, and he hooked it down the line. Watch the pitch. Down and in. He was able to kind of speed up his bat with that breaking ball.
Just got it over the wall in left. Indians last night with a comeback in the third and fourth innings to take a lead. Now ground ball headed up the middle, scooped up by Lindor. Escobar quickly retired. The Twins get a pair in the fourth. Still trail by 5. Your link to what's next by NorthlandFord.com and your local Northland Ford dealer. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. Indians knocking out Irvin Santana in the third inning. Twins trying to come back. It's an 8-3 ball game. And Carlos Santana will lead off the fourth inning. Twins didn't get 5 innings from Kyle Gibson in his start against Toronto. And that's been the longest start over the last 4 ball games.
Well, I just looked it up, and it isn't a pretty thing. In the last 4 games, including tonight's games, the starters have gone 12.2 innings and given up 29 runs.
Oh, my goodness. 12.2 innings. 29 runs. 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 2-0 now to Santana. He'll be followed by Gomes and Chisenhall. And what makes this so alarming, you're looking at giving Chisenhall the benefit of the doubt for somewhat veteran Cleveland hitters in a row. Brantley, Santana, Gomes, and again giving Chisenhall the benefit of the doubt. He's lined up fourth behind those guys. But you've got Ramirez and Lindor, Urshela, Almonte, and Perez in this Cleveland lineup tonight.
You know what that proves is that you never take anybody for granted. There's young kids trying to impress ownership and management here. They're trying to fight for a chance to play at the big league level for a long time, and they've been swinging the bats. You can't make mistakes, and the Twins have made way too many of them.
For the game, they played about a 45-minute video of a ceremony they had here in Cleveland about a month ago. It was honoring the 1995 Cleveland Indian American League Championship Ball Club. 3-1, swinging a foul. And that lineup had Jim Thome hitting fourth, Manny Ramirez hitting eighth. And the Indians tonight are putting up numbers that those guys would have been proud of. No home runs, but 10 hits and 8 early runs. 3-2 to the leadoff man. The leadoff man has reached in all 3 innings. And Graham will try to get Santana here to break the thread, and he throws one helmet high. And Twins have given up 2 leadoff hits, and now in the last 2 innings, leadoff walks. Next weekend, it'll be at Target Field, the Twins and Indians, August 14th through the 16th. Friday night will include a Friday night fireworks, music presented by Cool 108, and a special happy hour at Barrio from 4:30 to 5:30. Saturday, a DQ Sensational Saturday. Sunday, a Super America Not Whole Kids Day. Call 800-33-TWINS. Visit twinsbaseball.com for tickets. Here's Yan Gomes. Drew a leadoff walk in the third, and by inning's end, the Indians had 4 more runs. Swing and a miss. Gomes with a pop up to second. Was back in the first inning. And then the leadoff walk issued by Santana in the third. Inside, and it's 1-1. Gomes, the designated hitter.
J.R. Graham just going to have to extend this ball game and try to suck up some innings tonight for the Twins.
1-2.
He himself has struggled a bit as of late, giving up that 3-run home run in Toronto, but he needs to locate his fastball off the plate. His fastball, he's got good velocity, very strong arm, but typically he's going to have success off the plate. I saw David Price pitch so well because he never threw one down the middle.
Backhanded by Suzuki.
And Graham tends to leave too many pitches of fastball variety over the middle of the plate up in the zone. If he can start locating that pitch off the center of the plate, he'll have a lot more success. Again, like so many pitchers, he rarely throws in, and he's got a good enough fastball that he can tie guys up on the inner half.
Two and two to Gomes. Man, threw him an off-speed pitch on 2-2. Got a strikeout, 1 down. Graham has faced 4 men and gotten 3 outs. Twins will take those odds for a while.
Good hard breaking ball out of the zone that Yan Gomes chased.
Lonnie Chisenhall gave the Indians a 2-1 lead with a first inning single. And then Santana got him to hit a ground ball to Mauer, and the whole inning kind of mushroomed out of the play. Now, there were plenty of hits that followed, but the Indians put together a rally because Joe bobbled the ground ball. Ended up getting Chisenhall at first when he had a great opportunity to, if not get a double play, at least get the lead runner at second. But the bobble and then Mauer's decision not to throw to second kind of turned the whole inning upside down for the Twins. 1-1.
I just keep looking around at the outfielders and the infielders and how flat-footed they are in between pitches. They just haven't had a whole lot of time to get back in the dugout.
And when they've been out there, they've been sprinting to the gaps. Doubles, triples.
It resonates in my memory of Tom Kelly always preaching to get the team off the field. We can't score when we're on the field. You know, you want your great players, your great teammates to not burn up their legs standing around out there.
10 hits for the Indians, half of them for extra bases. Now a foul back, still 1-2.
I remember as a pitcher, spring training so many times. Of course, Florida is different than Arizona, but a lot of windy days in February in Central Florida when I was with Detroit. And standing around shagging for batting practice, how stiff you would get. And infielders and outfielders in these long games, you just got to be creative and try to keep moving out there to stay loose.
And Chisenhall rolls one through the right side. First hit allowed by Graham on a pitch that looked like it was almost in the dirt.
Chisenhall hit a ball off of Urban Santana that was down. So he's been able to go after the low pitch tonight.
That was 6 inches off the plate when he made contact.
Just where he was looking for it.
There are low ball hitters and then there are low ball hitters. That pitch wasn't a strike. First and second, one down, and now Urshela. And it looks as if you give Urshela a first pitch breaking ball, he'll swing at it every time.
Yeah, he's trying to get it started, jump on that first fastball he sees. And that's something you're going to, the league and especially the Twins will learn. That maybe start them off with an off-speed pitch or a breaking ball.
And a fastball, a strike, 0-2. Eight to 3 doesn't matter. He's still beating the drum. We're going to show him all night long.
And no earplugs for that guy. I mean, he just has to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, doesn't he?
Bounce to the right side. Dozier with a nice play. Going to his left, throwing him out. Very nice play by Dozier. Second out of the inning. Santana to third. Chisenhall to second.
J.R. Graham gets a nice little help from Brian Dozier. We've seen it so many times, making an excellent play right there. And that probably saved another run. The ball looked like it was going to get through, and Dozier, the last step in a dive, was able to get to it.
8-3, and the Twins have scored some runs here in Cleveland already this year. And whatever hopes they have of getting back winning this game probably depend on Graham putting up a 0 here in the fourth, and then maybe a sequence of zeros afterwards. You can't keep giving up runs. Here is Abraham Almonte.
Well, even though I never lost a game with 10, where I got 10 runs, you don't win very many when you give up 8.
Almonte with a pair of doubles. He's seen a total of 4 pitches. Just called up today. Tyler Holt was sent down. And now 0-2. Some really ugly numbers up there.
I don't know why we're looking at those. We've already had a bad night.
if he keeps that up, if he can keep hitting like the numbers we just showed you, he'll be right behind Hank Aaron and the Cooperstown Directory of Hall of Famers.
22 years later, right?
1-2. I'm trying to put up a 0 in the 4th. Dribbled up the line, and Graham has plenty of time, and just barely got Mauer with Almonte evading the tag, and then a late decision by Graham to get the out, and there's a 0, and it's 8-3. Dozier on a check swing, and it's ball 1. Dozier called out on a check swing that was checked legally, but home plate umpire Mike Everett rung him up anyway, leading off the 3rd. And now a pop-up. It's back and out of play, 1-1. 19 runs on the board last night, and the Twins won a ball game. 11 so far tonight, and the Indians are in front by 5. Pepsi fans of the game hoping that the Twins can come back against the Indians like the Indians did against the Twins last night. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Yeah, you would like to see the Twins not just have one good offensive game, but back it up a couple, 3 games in a row, get on some kind of roll. Pitching needs to be picked up by the offense. Obviously, they've really struggled, the starters in particular. Some more Twins fans.
Rifled to right center field. And a base hit for Brian Dozier, leading off the 5th inning. Dozier, who had a couple of strikeouts and was 1 for 16 against Trevor Bauer, goes to right center field to get a leadoff single in the 5th. Bring up Mauer. Twins had a 1-0 lead in this game at one point. Mauer cracked a first inning home run.
Well, they need to keep the line moving. Joe struck out his last time up. He needs to somehow get Doge over into scoring position, maybe get a base hit or another gapper.
Fox Tracks presented by Jeep, and Mauer fouls it back. Last night's Cleveland starter, Cody Anderson, had a tough time and knocked out early, and he was put on the disabled list today with an oblique strain. And this late in the season, that might be the last anyone sees of Cody Anderson this year.
Usually that's 4 to 6 weeks.
Down and in, 1-1. Twins want to add a couple more here. They got a 2-out home run from Suzuki to get to within 8-3. And now a leadoff single. And again, this is just the 5th inning.
Yeah, they need to just put some more pressure on him.
Double play grounder to Hopper, right to Ramirez, 2 down. Sano will hit with the bases empty and 2 out. Sano grounded a single up the middle with 2 outs in the 3rd.
Twins would like to see more runners on base in front of this guy. He's got the potential to drive the ball in batting practice, put on another display here in Cleveland. This would be a fun place to take BP if you're right-handed. Rattle around out there. It's like a mini monster out in left field here.
Swing, but he went 1-1.
Big old scoreboard in left field.
Breaking ball down and away. Swing and a miss. I know this. 20 years ago, when the Indians went to the World Series and they had Tony hitting 4th and Albert Bell hitting, what, 3rd, I suppose, and then Manny Ramirez and Carlos Baerga. Man alive, they were a fearsome lineup. And Bauer burns the outside corner. Sano takes a called 3rd strike, and the Twins send just 3 men to the plate in the 5th. Tomorrow with the New York Derby, as the Red Bulls, you've had Red Bull before, haven't you?
Never. No.
Take on New York City FC at 6 p.m. Central on Fox Sports 1, sponsored by Audi. Have you ever driven an Audi?
Been in one.
Okay.
Never driven one.
Okay. Well, J.R. Graham pitched a scoreless 4th. He had to face 5 batters, but he has gotten 5 outs in 7 plate appearances, and that's a far cry better than what the Twins starter Irvin Santana gave the Twins here tonight. Santana leaving the ball game in the 3rd inning, having given up 10 hits and 8 runs. That's why we are where we are. Only in the 5th inning, the Twins on their 2nd pitcher. Roberto Perez with a 1-0 count. Did you ever think you'd see a day where a major league club would have 9 relief pitchers and then wonder how they're going to ration the pitching just to get through a ball game? That's pretty much where Paul Molitor and Neil Allen are right now.
Well, everybody, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yesterday, 4 the day before, 5 the day before that. So yeah, the bullpen's all getting their work in, and there's a little art to balancing all that out. Neil Allen and of course Eddie Guardado, who's out in the bullpen, they communicate and see who's ready, hot to go, and who needs a day. Sometimes those guys aren't always ready and available every day, so then you're limited to even less.
1-2 to Perez. Fouled back.
You know, this is crazy, but I go back to the very first hitter of the game for Cleveland. Jose Ramirez got a base hit after about 2 pitches, and Irvin Santana was getting the ball and throwing it out of the windup, and then it's been in the stretch, and it seems like Twins pitching has been in the stretch this whole game. Of course, J.R. Graham comes out of the pen and takes a lot of time to deliver the ball, and he doesn't wind up. He throws out of the stretch.
2-2.
But the time between pitches is something that could be improved upon. I mean, the infielders and outfielders stand around till he takes a peek and then figures out what he wants to throw.
Breaking ball off the plate. Looked like Graham shook off whatever Suzuki gave him, and now it's a full count.
And I think he thought that was strike 3, the way he walked off the mound.
Twins have given up 2 leadoff hits, and now in the last 2 innings have issued 2 leadoff walks.
See that last pitch off the plate a little.
And Perez catches up with another fastball and fouls it back.
.40 pitches already for J.R. Graham, and he's retired 5 outs.
Ryan O'Rourke, who typically comes in to get 1 batter out, maybe an inning's worth, warming up here in the 5th. It's a fly ball to the right field corner. Hunter still on the grass and now on the warning track makes the catch, and finally Perez is retired. And we'll bring up Jose Ramirez.
Well, he's just a home run now away from the cycle. Take a look at his night. First inning, base hit, then he gets a triple. And last at bat, he drives one again past the diving Escobar and gets into second base. Scorekeeper gave him a double on that.
Ramirez with 2 home runs this year and 4 big league home runs. Earlier in the week, Adrian Beltre hit his 3rd cycle and became one of 3 players, I guess, in baseball history who picked up 3 cycles in a career. But he did all that work. He completed the cycle by the 5th inning, and now here's Jose Ramirez with a chance to do just that. Won't happen in this at bat. Mauer feeds Graham. 2 down. We'll bring up Lindor. And now Francisco Lindor, who has contributed to all the run scoring the Indians have done here, but in a curious way. A sacrifice bunt in the 1st when the Indians scored 2. A sacrifice fly in the 2nd when they scored 2. And then a sacrifice fly in the 3rd when they scored 4. He's going to have an at bat here unless Graham walks him or hits him. Ball 1. Santana, the Twin starter, in danger of falling to 3-10 in his career against the Cleveland Indians. Outside, 2-0. Chopped off the plate. Plouffe has to hurry. Bare hands and has no play. Lindor hit it about 50 feet up the third baseline. A chopper off the plate for a 2-out single.
Now Lindor can really get down the line. And there's no way Trevor did an absolutely the right thing, even if he would have barehanded and had it perfectly gripped in his hand. He wasn't going to make a throw there.
Well, Graham unable to complete 5 innings, but yet he pitches well enough and deep enough in relief of Ervin Santana.
Of Fame, and the guy just taking the mound now for the Twins paid a visit there earlier today. Ryan O'Rourke making the most out of his time so far in the big leagues. He tells me he's up by about 8 a.m. every day because he wants to explore all these new cities that he gets to go to. In Toronto, he went to the Hockey Hall of Fame, and today went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This one resonated a bit more because he's a big music guy. His favorite ever performer is Bruce Springsteen. He says Bob Dylan is a very close second, and he tells me that if he could pick a walkout song, it would be Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen. But he has a lot of appreciation for what he saw today at that Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Very nice. Thank you, Jamie. Ryan O'Rourke trying to get the last out of the 5th inning here. You been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame there yet?
Have not.
Okay. Well, Ryan should have a good time on the next road trip. We go to New York. Plenty of sightseeing to do there. Then Baltimore.
Do you still do any sightseeing? I know that it's kind of a fashionable thing to do for the first maybe 2-3 years of the guy's career. You see every city, and then bedrooms and hotel rooms and buses and airplanes kind of all melt into each other.
I'm not much of a tourist. I just had this discussion with my friend from San Diego, who I had lunch with here in Cleveland, and he went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I guess the special exhibit now is on Paul Simon. And but I'm not.
What are you going to do in New York?
What I normally do: roll my dresser in front of the door and just stay there for 3 days. And I've said this before. I think it's impossible for someone who grew up in a town of 200 people to feel comfortable in a city of 8 million. I've never enjoyed New York.
Just haven't spent enough time, that's all.
You enjoy going to New York?
I used to dread it. I was kind of like you. It was too overwhelming, but I've embraced it a little bit.
1-2 to Brantley. And that's flipped foul. And I grew up in Dumont, Minnesota. It was
have never been there. I'm going to have to put that on my bucket list.
Hey, listen, I'll tell you, I'll give you all the tourists.
If there's a sign that says home of Dick Rimmer, I'll feel I pretty much have done it all. Then.
You go to Dumont, maybe on a duck hunting trip or something, and I'll tell you about the tourist hotspots there, okay? About 100 people live there now. 1-2 to Brantley. And line foul.
Well, O'Rourke asked to get out the left-hander here, and it's a tough one. Brantley 2 hits already in today's game. Got an RBI in the first inning. A double in the second inning.
O'Rourke warming up maybe for this at bat, hoping it would come in the 6th inning, not the 5th. Now pitch in the dirt. Suzuki fires to second, not in time, and the ball gets by Dozier. There'll be no further advance. However, Lindor did kind of backpedal into Escobar. Second base umpire Rob Drake not calling any interference. Had Lindor actually made contact with Escobar and then tried to go to third, they may have given him the base.
And it's going to be a wild pitch for O'Rourke.
And the count now 2-2 to Brantley. Brantley with a couple of hits when it really mattered in the first and second inning. And now a foul, and that winged Suzuki. Nothing has come easily for the Twins.
No, it's 5 straight innings of 20 pitches
or more.
And that's why we are where we are here in this ball game. Nothing has been easy for the Twins pitching staff on this road trip.
And again, it's somewhat understandable if you're facing the Blue Jays and Donaldson, Tulowitzki, Bautista, so on and so forth. But this is a rebuilt Cleveland lineup. 2-2. And another foul.
You know, the neat thing about today's game is not only can hitters watch video to study pitching, but pitchers can go back and watch video and see where their pitches were. Sometimes reminds them that I know a lot of times I thought I made great pitches. And, you know, in my day it was hard to go back. You'd have to watch a tape of the game and stop it in order to see a certain particular pitch. But a lot of times when I did that, I realized the pitch wasn't near as good as what I thought it was. And sometimes I think that's what all pitchers need to do is watch the videos, and then they're reminded of what they're doing wrong. They can see their deliveries. They can really correct their own mechanics at times. It's a wonderful tool to learn.
3-2 to Brantley. 10th pitch of this at bat, and Brantley flips another one foul. O'Rourke was brought in to try to get the left-handed hitting Brantley and get the Twins off the field, but now Brantley having a marathon at bat against O'Rourke.
Hitters that do this, it just can really frustrate a pitcher, especially if they win the battle. 3-2. Brantley's just been able to foul balls off.
And he ends up walking. First and second, 2 down. And now Carlos Santana, the switch hitter. Single to strike out and a walk.
Fourth walk allowed by the Twins here in 5 innings.
Tries to hit the inside corner, but ball one. Started to talk, I don't know, it could have been in Santana's first inning at bat, his second inning at bat, or his fourth inning plate appearance. few years ago, the American League Central had some really good catching. Joe Mauer was still behind the plate, winning Gold Gloves, batting championships. The Indians had brought up Carlos Santana, and he looked like he was going to be more of a offensive catcher than a defensive catcher, but he was, a switch hitter with power from behind the plate. Indians had Alex Avila, and look where they all are now. Avila has more walks and strikeouts, or than hits this year. Santana's been moved to a DH first baseman, and Mauer's been moved to first base.
I remember talking to Sandy Alomar Jr., former catcher, and now the first base coach, about Santana as a catcher, and he just kept shaking his head. He says, I don't know if he'll ever get it. And they tolerate him long enough to put him out to first base and have him DH.
He, like Mauer's, had some concussion issues. 3-1 now. And O'Rourke trying to provide some relief. And instead he's walked the first two batters he's faced. And they're loaded up for Yan Gomes. So what you've done by, there's a domino effect here. Here comes Neil Allen, and he's running to the mound to try to establish some sort of pace here, but it's a domino effect. O'Rourke has been used now for 16 pitches. Twins might need him to try to get Chisenhall, Brantley, somebody out in tomorrow's series finale. I'm not sure they're going to be able to go there because of his use here tonight.
Well, in effect, what he's already done is pitched an inning's worth of work without retiring anybody. Typically 15 pitches per inning is what you're looking for. And anything after that, you really climb. Well, he hasn't retired a batter and walked two guys on 16 pitches, with Brantley having such a good at bat, running the pitch count up.
First two men were retired. And Lindor with a chopper off the plate for a single, a pair of walks, and now Gomes with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Strike on the outside corner. A ball.
He threw that pitch right there like he was throwing a screwball. He really turned over his wrist, but his front side really opened up in a hurry.
Pulled foul, might have cracked his back.
Yes, he did. He's going to have to get a new piece of lumber.
Fourth plate appearance for Gomes, and we're just in the 5th inning. 32 plate appearances, 31 completed plate appearances, and the Indians have 12 hits and 5 walks. Indians stranded 2 men in the 4th. Now O'Rourke trying to strand 3 in the 5th. And Suzuki with a nice dig. Suzuki's been catching most of these games. Probably won't catch tomorrow. Chris Herman, now the backup catcher.
Well, you talk about a team that, a winning team, they go through extended winning streaks. And I think conversely, teams that don't win go through extended losing streaks. And a lot of times you can pin that on a starting rotation without a dominant guy to be that shutdown guy. Twins are going through one of those streaks right now.
And O'Rourke has walked 3 men in a row and walked in a run. So the run charged to Graham, who gave up a 2-out chopper off the plate, but now O'Rourke has come in and walk 3 men in a row. And that'll bring up Chisenhall. We should mention, actually, Chisenhall's going to be pinch hit for. We should mention that Caleb Thielbar, who was, he was Ryan O'Rourke before Ryan O'Rourke was Ryan O'Rourke, the situational left-hander. Caleb Thielbar was claimed today on waivers by the San Diego Padres. And Paul Molitor has to come out and get Caleb Thielbar.
Ryan O'Rourke.
I'm sorry, Ryan O'Rourke. And O'Rourke comes in and walks 3 men and comes off the field with the Indians adding another run in the 5th. Do it. The Indians have added another run. They've scored in every inning but the 4th. And the 3 guys who are out there have all achieved base runner status by a base on balls.
Well, this has turned into one of the ugly ones for the Twins tonight, and they just unfortunately still have quite a few innings of baseball yet to play. Just the bottom of the 5th inning. 3-run lead now for Cleveland.
The 4th game in a row where the Twins have given up 9 runs.
Excuse me, 6-run lead.
And Boyer trying to keep this. Keep the Indians at 9. Jerry Sands hitting for Chisenhall. One and 0. Down and away, 2-0. 12 hits, 6 walks given up by the Twins pitching staff here tonight. Hunter going back, and that ball is gone. A pinch hit grand slam for Jerry Sands. And the carnage continues.
Well, this is one that everybody in uniform is going to want to forget about as soon as they can. Ball right down the middle after getting behind in the count. Bases loaded with walks, and Jerry Sands, kind of like Torrey Hunter last night, able to muscle one right over the fence in right field.
A 2-run first, a 2-run second, 4-run third, and now after 2 are out, Lindor chopped one off the plate. O'Rourke walked 3 men in a row. Sands goes oppo for a grand slam. and it's 13-3. And now Boyer falls behind again, 2-0. Driven foul, 2-1. One run charge to Graham. 3 runs charged to O'Rourke. And Boyer's already been charged with 1. He pitched to Sands and gave up the grand slam. 2-2. Eighth man to bat after the first 2 men were retired. That ends an awful 5th inning. 13-3 with the Indians striking for 5 more, 4 on one swing of the bat.
Forget it. Twins home games. Bring your Circle Me signs, and if you get circled, you may find yourself in the Minnesota Lottery's winner's circle, where you could win $100 worth of lottery scratch-off tickets, courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery.
An awful night for the Twins and their fans. Trevor Plouffe will lead off the 6th. Trevor Bauer still out there. And it'll be Plouffe, Hunter, and Rosario in the 6th inning. First pitch over for a strike. Give Bauer credit. At least he has thrown strikes. And while the Twins have alternately, it seemed, been giving up hits and walks, Bauer had a little bout of wildness in the first inning when he walked back-to-back batters with 2 outs, and he hasn't walked anyone since. He's handled a big lead the way you're supposed to handle a big lead. Tap foul.
And I might just add, he's been iced quite a few innings. He's been sitting in that dugout for long stretches. So you got to get a little creative sometimes in games like that when you're on the winning side, just to stay loose.
Breaking ball.
Now hitters have batting cages right underneath, or they can take some balls and swing off the tee, kind of keep loose. Pitchers really don't have anywhere to go to throw the ball.
2-2. with Hunter on deck. Squirted to the second baseman Ramirez, one away. We're going to feel bad about this answer, Jack.
You think we're going to feel bad?
How about Carlton Fisk, maybe?
There you go.
72 out home runs after the age of 40.
Well, how old was he when he retired then? 44?
Sure. Okay.
I
Something
don't
like
know.
that.
I mean, how many years? That's a lot of home runs right there. So he must have played well beyond his 40th birthday.
Speaking of the White Sox, it was on this date in 1976 that the owner equipped the White Sox roster with shorts to wear in a game. Bill Veeck had the White Sox players wear shorts.
They were, by far, in my opinion, the ugliest uniform ever at the big league level, with some of the biggest, stoutest.
Hunter strikes out, 2 down.
Non-athletic looking players on that team.
Okay. Now they continued to wear them, as I recall, for a couple of years. And because you came up in 77 and you remember the Tigers playing the White Sox. I don't know if you pitched.
I did. I pitched against those uniforms. And
how'd you keep from giggling?
It was tough to get the knee-high pitch because a lot of the shorts were above that.
What on earth would possess? I mean, this is.
Can you imagine sliding?
That's what I was going to say.
You know,
I mean,
and the raspberries are going to get on your knees. And
you're asking, major league players to slide. There's a deep drive to right field off the bat of Rosario. Man alive, did he crush that one. A 2-out home run. It's the 3rd home run for the Twins here tonight. And just like that, they're within 9.
That's just not fair.
Well, Rosario cracking his 6th home run, and no doubter it was to right field.
Yeah, he jumped on that one. That's kind of a sweet sound if you're in the right dugout.
And now Aaron Hicks. Well, Chet Lemon, who later played with you, I think he was on those White Sox teams.
LaFleur. I'm going to try to think of some of the great bodies that were in those uniforms.
LaFleur was with the White Sox at that time.
Greg Lazinski.
Okay.
Richie Zisk. I mean, it's some big boys that just that uniform did nothing for, except for a few laughs, I guess.
Oh, 0-2 to Hicks, and in the dirt. Hicks with a bunt single in the 2nd when it mattered. It was a 2-1 ball game at the time. Then a fly ball to center in the 4th.
We should try to get a picture of Tony La Russa, their manager, wearing that uniform. Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I don't. Was he managing though? That.
Yeah, I think he was
in the late 70s.
Well, I mean, they were still wearing it
when he managed.
I think in his first year.
Right. 2-2 to Hicks. On the ground, backhanded by Ramirez. Nice play to get Hicks. And the Twins get one back on a 2-out home run by Rosario. Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. By Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. And by McDonald's. With $1.69 iced coffees and 69-cent vanilla cones, you can get totes, treats, excited all summer long at McDonald's. Eddie Rosario with the third home run for the Twins tonight, but they're still down by plenty. Shane Robinson has taken over for Torrey Hunter in right field. And Boyer's first pitch whistled right past his cap into center field. It's another base hit for Almonte, who's 3 for 3. Three for 4. Roberto Perez will hit.
Shane Robinson takes over for Torrey Hunter out there in right field.
Boyer got the last out of the 5th after giving up the grand slam. The Twins still have ostensibly 3 innings worth of outs to get. I'm not sure pitchers are going to be asked to pitch the entire game here. We might have a position player asked to pitch before this night is done. Here's the catcher, Roberto Perez. Driven foul. The last position player to pitch in a game, Jamie Carroll, 2 years ago in Kansas City.
We just got a little note too here about the retiring age of Carlton Fisk. He was 45, so he had 5 years to hit 72 home runs, which ironically was his playing uniform number. A 24-year career, a Hall of Fame career.
One and one to Roberto Perez. Perez walked and scored one of the 13 runs that the Indians have put up tonight. And the dirt, 2-1. Who's your candidate to be the position player who might pitch an inning or more here tonight?
I have to think about that.
Hunter's out of the game, so Torrey can't pitch.
Probably Escobar.
High and deep to the right field corner. And Robinson, there's no play. It bangs off the steps.
You got to look at the extra men. Nunez, Robinson's already in the game. Chris Herman, well, I don't think it's going to be Suzuki. So, you know, that would be the replacement for Chris Herman. So it's probably Eduardo Escobar, one of the infielders.
Maybe Escobar, and then Nunez takes over at short.
There's a lot of bullets left in the bullpen yet tonight.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It has to be. I don't think Paul Molitor ever wants to get to that point.
2-2. Driven to right. Robinson catches the liner. 1-1. Back to the top of the order again. Jose Ramirez. 10 times a Twins position player has pitched. Julio Becerra in 1961. Cesar Tovar in 68, but that was orchestrated. He pitched the first inning and played all 9 positions in that game at Met Stadium. Dan Gladden did it twice. John Moses did it 3 times. Michael Kadire did it once. Drew Butera and Jamie Carroll. Up and away, ball 1.
And in all honesty, it's games like these that, you know, just run out of pitchers. Now, you got to remember, in those days, you didn't have a 9-man bullpen.
That's true. Good
so
point.
We have a lot more guys to throw.
Chopper to short. Heaven forbid. We might have 2 outs on 1 pitch. Ramirez beats the relay. He reaches on a fielder's choice. And that'll bring up Francisco Lindor. Fox Sports North is proud to partner with Girls on the Run Twin Cities to empower girls to be healthy and confident. Join us for the Girls on the Run Fall 5K on Saturday, November 14th at Harriet Island Pavilion. To register, visit foxsportsnorth.com, click on upcoming events. Here's Lindor. Strike at the knees. "14 hits. Twins have issued 6 walks.
The Twins gave up 14 hits and 9 runs last night. So 28 hits so far in this Cleveland series.
One and two. th pitch for Boyer. Twins have an off day on Monday, and the pitching staff's going to need it. Chopper to short, and Escobar over to Bauer, and that finishes the 6th inning. On to the 7th. 13-4 Cleveland. Joe Mauer with a home run in the first inning. The Twins actually led this game 1-0. Jose Ramirez triple in the second inning made it back-to-back 2-run innings for the Indians, and then a 2-run double by Ramirez, part of a 4-run third inning. And they weren't done yet. A grand slam in the 5th, a 5-run 5th. The Twins have hit a couple of home runs, but it's still 13-4. And dare I say, the game hasn't been as close as the score would indicate. Here is Kurt Suzuki to lead off the 7th. Outside ball 1. Suzuki, Escobar, and Dozier. Suzuki with a 2-run home run his last time up, got the game to within 8-3. You've heard that phrase before, haven't you? The game wasn't as close as the score indicated. This game's not been as close as the score might indicate.
It's one I want to forget about.
2-1 to Suzuki.
And I know I'm supposed to be promoting Twins baseball tonight, and I will, and we are. I'm going to do the best I can.
It's just not the last 3 innings of it.
But you play this game long enough, you've seen pretty much everything. I've seen these kind of games before, and quite honestly, I don't remember one of them because I forgot about them.
Congratulations. Probably didn't pitch too many of them.
Well, I was part of a few of them. I know that.
2-2 to Suzuki.
The good news is, as a starter, you don't have to watch the whole thing.
You're long gone, right?
You sat around the locker room for a long time.
There's a drive to left. Retreating is Brantley, and makes a nice catch on the warning track. Went away. And that'll bring up Escobar. Escobar 0 for 2. Struck out in the second, bounced out in the fourth. Otherwise pleasant night in Cleveland.
Yeah, and another very nice crowd. It couldn't have been hot dog night again tonight, could it? Because
they got fireworks again tonight.
For all the, well, that was quite a show from what I was told. A bunch of people stood around and waited for that. It took a while to get this field set up, but they said it went on for a long time, and it was a big league fireworks display.
Escobar takes up and away.
108
Indians.
pitches now.
Yeah.
So Terry Francona letting his starter be stretched out a little bit.
Can we make the point that not many have been under duress?
Well, they shouldn't be. If he's not comfortable right now, there's a good chance he never will be.
3-1. And now a walk. The number 9 batter draws a 1-out walk on the 7th, and we'll see whether there's a mid-inning pitching change here. Here comes the manager. Buck Bauer handled a big lead okay. The walk he just issued, his first walk since the first inning. And the Twins got a couple of runs. In fact, all 4 of their runs have come on 3 home runs. Little pitching change. Bauer leaves with a nice round of applause and a 9-run lead.
And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Minnesota Twins LLC. Who's LLC?
I don't know.
License.
I'm still stuck on the notion that anybody would want to rebroadcast this thing or retain it for any means whatsoever. Ryan Webb will come into the ball game hoping to maybe pitch the rest of the way. I have no idea what Terry Francona's hopes are here, but Webb will pitch to Brian Dozier.
Now wait a minute. I want to go back.
Yes.
We might want to rewatch this sometime. You know, when you need a long evening in the middle of the winter, when the Twins come back and score about 15.
Well, you know, it was a game that we thought was pretty much out of hand right before the All-Star break against the Tigers. The Twins were pretty much dead in the water, and Dozier hit the big walk-off home run, part of a 7-run ninth. And just think, what that game meant, not so much to the Twins, but to the Tigers.
To everybody.
Well, look what's happened to the Tigers since.
Yeah,
the general manager was dismissed. The manager's getting all sorts of heat now. There's dust-ups in the dugout. The team hasn't recovered in terms of wins and losses from that game. That was a very destructive home run by Brian Dozier. Some of that might have all happened anyway. We won't know, but clearly that game was a turning point for the Tigers because they had won the night before. They were in position to win again, and might very well have, started tapping nails into the Twins' coffin on that Saturday and Sunday before the break. So
you never know. Certainly a lot has happened in Detroit since then.
What do you make of the sniping that we saw and the shoving in the dugout last night between James McCann and Jose Iglesias?
I know I'm probably not supposed to say this, but I loved it because baseball is full of emotion, and sometimes in the world we live in today, players hardly ever show that. They're trained not to. They're actually instructed about how to behave and do things, but the human element says you're going to have emotion. And Brian McCann did not appreciate an effort that his teammate showed, and of course his teammate didn't appreciate getting scolded in front of his own group of peers. So there's a little discrepancy, and I think the manager Brad Ausmus handled it well by saying it happens more than you realize. It's just not always on TV.
Right. And it probably happened, things like that happened
James McCann, the catcher. I'm sorry,
right.
not Brian.
And those things have probably happened going back to Ty Cobb and Babe Ruth. It's just, obviously games weren't televised back then. The most infamous dugout altercation, the first one I ever saw, was the Billy Martin, Reggie Jackson thing at Fenway Park. I believe it was at Fenway, where Billy Martin took Reggie out of the game. Yeah. And then they had a little altercation in the dugout on the game of the week. That was the Saturday game of the week.
Well, you remember a few years back where Delman Young was plunked and went after Jose Majaras,
his
own teammate, because he had thrown at somebody else, and that's why Delman got hit.
Adam Everett. And, talking about turning points, the Tigers had a chance to clinch the division that day. The Twins won the series finale, and then the Tigers, as I recall, lost 2 out of 3 to the White Sox. The Twins won 2 or all 3 to force game 163, and that was the game 163 that the Twins won. But going back to that Thursday afternoon, the Tigers had a chance to clinch that day, and they didn't get it done. And there didn't seem to be much urgency. They had 3 more days to clinch, but it didn't work out. Full count to Dozier, but we digress because it's 13-4. Tapper left side. And a double play. That will end the Twins at bats in the 7th inning. But as promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong Fan photo of the game. You can tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag #NorthDataStrongFan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Folks having fun at Target Field. A.J. Ochter into the ball game here to pitch.
That's Kevin Jepsen.
I'm sorry, Kevin Jepsen. Coming in to pitch to the Indians in the 7th inning. Ochter pitched last night. And he'll face Brantley, Santana, and Gomes if, in fact, they're still in the ballgame. Jepsen's had some control issues in 2 of the 3 ball games he's pitched for the Twins.
Chris Herman will be the new Twins catcher. He was just recalled the other day.
The Twins are left with Nunez on the bench in case they are going to go the route of a position player pitching in the 9th. Brantley leading off the 7th. Santana and Gomes scheduled to follow. Brantley with a single, a double, and a walk, 2 runs scored. You get the idea. It's been that kind of night. Up and away, ball 1. Twins behind 3 teams and by 3.5 games in the wild card standings. And so you try to look at a game like this with some perspective in terms of what it's going to do. It's a loss. It's 1 loss. Twins are behind the Angels, Blue Jays, and Orioles in the wild card standings coming into play today. The Orioles are out in Anaheim playing the Angels. They're scoreless in the 3rd inning. Fouled away. And the Blue Jays beat the Yankees. So the Twins might still have the 3 games ahead of them. Next road trip includes 4 games in Baltimore. It's going to be a very important series. At least the Twins hope to. They need to play better baseball, or everything that's set up to be important in August isn't going to be important anymore. 1-2. And that will hop over Jepsen and into center field. Brantley has his 3rd hit. And that'll bring up Santana.
You see Jepsen made an effort for this ball. Just gets by him before he can leap to it. And up the middle it goes.
Santana's drawn a couple of walks and he's singled. Brantley out of the ball game. Aviles will run for him. Down and away, ball 1. Of course, when we say there are 3 teams ahead of the Twins in the wild card standings, that does not count the division leaders themselves, who could also become wild card contenders if second place switches with first place. And that could very soon be happening in the American League East. Not so in the American League Central, but also in the West. Starting play today, the Angels just a game and a half behind the Astros.
And there's a lot of times for both those teams to flip-flop, the Angels and the Astros and the Yankees and the Blue Jays.
2-0. Tapped foul. Baltimore, a couple games above the 500 mark. That's where the Twins hoped they would be. And as much as the Twins have dropped back, the standard for serious wild card contention still seems to be the 500 mark. And it looks like that's where the Twins will be for the series and road trip finale tomorrow. 2-2 to Santana. High fly to center. And Hicks has plenty of time to get underneath it. One down. Some news and notes from around baseball. David Price with 7 shutout innings. And look at it, the results he's given the Blue Jays since they acquired him.
Amazing, really. He's done everything they could ask. The only run he's given up was to the Twins.
Francisco Liriano hit a home run for the Pirates. And so did Chris Bryant for the Cubs, his 15th. Yan Gomes, the batter. So much attention paid. Swing foul to Byron Buxton. Second game on his rehab. Reached a couple of times. Single, a walk, stolen base. Maybe with a head first slide, which would test that sprained thumb. But maybe the headline to come out of that game, Jose Barrios with 7 shutout innings for Rochester and a whole bunch of strikeouts. Suddenly the Twins find themselves in need of starting pitching. When you have 4 games in a row like this, you can imagine Terry Ryan being interested in how Barrios does, with the chance that he may get a call. 2 strikes.
It's got to get better if the Twins are going to even have a chance. There's no doubt about that.
1-2.
Phil Hughes will go tomorrow against one of the game's better pitchers. He's had a tough year this year.
Corey Kluber, last year's Cy Young Award.
Yeah.
Well, the Indian position players, frankly, should be tired. They scored 9 runs last night. They've scored 13 tonight. 15 hits, a whole bunch of walks and base running.
And the trouble is, everybody's tired.
Up and in.
At least they've been sitting on the bench most of the game, waiting for their turn at bat. The Twins outfielders and infielders have been on their feet, standing around the whole game.
Kansas City beat the White Sox 7-6. The Royals with the cushiest cushion in the 6 divisions. Looks like they're going to have a 10.5 game lead on the Twins by the end of this game. Shane Robinson just entered the game, and he's already growing roots out there in right field. I don't know that there's been one quick at bat in this game in the bottom half of these innings.
And the crazy thing is, there hasn't been a 1-2-3 inning for the Twins. So every single inning they've had a pitch out of the stretch. And other than the very first bat, which Urban Santana was throwing against Jose Ramirez, the 2 pitches he worked quick. After that, it slowed down.
Robinson retreats, makes a nice running catch on the edge of the track for the second out. Took a good angle on that ball and was just tall enough to pull it down. 2 down. It'll bring up Sands.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to stay alert when you're standing around as much as everybody has been, but they get ready just about the time the pitcher's ready to deliver the ball. And you saw Shane Robinson run right back behind him. Good running catch right there.
I know Sands, who entered the game as a pinch hitter for Chisenhall. The game was pretty much heavily tilted in Cleveland's favor, shall we say, and then Sands hit an opposite field grand slam. Brian O'Rourke came in, faced 3 batters, walked all 3. They all came in on the Sands home run. One and 0. Foul back, 1-1. Twins won last night 10-9. Started the night 5.5 games ahead of the Indians. The team ahead of the Twins has won. Detroit, Chicago have lost, and it sure looks like Cleveland's going to win tonight.
Kansas City picked up their 65th win.
Texas beat Seattle 11-3. So they will pick up some wild card ground on the Twins and move ahead of them in the standings. Tampa Bay beat New York, the Mets. So Tampa Bay will get to within a half game of the Twins. Headed up the middle, Escobar flips to Dozier. That takes care of the 7th inning. On to the 8th with the Twins down by plenty. To 4. Joe Mauer actually gave the Twins a 1-0 lead in the first inning. Just missed a home run right down the left field line. It was fouled by a foot and short of the wall by about 2 feet. Vilas in the game in left field. Then he turned around and hammered one into the seats in right center in the same at bat. The rest, as they say, is history. Doesn't look like we'll have a position player pitch. With A.J. Octor warming up out of the Twins bullpen. He apparently will get the 8th inning. 1-1. Good as you said. My goodness, the Twins have 9 relief pitchers. As short as the starting pitching has been, it'd be embarrassing to have to use a position player with 9 relievers out there. But I guess it underscores the importance of what the Twins did. They sent Tyler Duffy down, knowing he wouldn't be needed for a while. There's Mauer with a line drive to center, leading off the 8th. We'll bring up Sano. So they brought an extra arm. It was A.J. Octor, and they've already apparently going to use him twice here in Cleveland.
Well, it's all about trying to get through this game right now. Certainly at this point it looks like there's not going to be a bottom of the 9th, so they saved 3 outs there.
Sano with a single, a ground out, and a strikeout. Down and away, ball 1. Indians came into the game 12th in the league in runs scored, counting the 9 runs they scored last night. They've added 13 more here tonight. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Ryan Webb, the Indians pitcher, throwing nothing but breaking balls here to Sano. Miguel's a little susceptible to that still. He doesn't make the adjustment on that pitch all the time. As we mentioned, struck out a lot.
If it's well off the plate like that, he has no problem taking it.
Yeah.
But that borderline one seems to give him some trouble.
Well, he still takes a big swing at it. That's why. Instead of trying to shoot the ball the other way and stay on the ball, a lot of times he'll lift and try to pull the ball, and you just can't do that at this level anyway.
Two and two. Foul ball. Two and two to the Twins' designated hitter. Might see Sano play at third base tomorrow. Breaking ball, and he took it for a call third strike.
Well, as lopsided and as ugly as this game has been, it's still a little over 3 hours.
Number 24, Trevor Cleveland.
There's a bright spot. Follow live Twins baseball every day with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected to the Twins all season with MLB.tv Game of the Day, in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, and more. You can browse the app's new features, including StatCast tracking videos, bilingual access for Spanish-speaking fans. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Out number 2, Plouffe quickly retired, and that'll get us to Shane Robinson.
The hitter for the Twins, number 21, Shane Robinson.
Shane getting his first plate appearance. Came in defensively for Torrey, or actually, yeah, defensively for Torrey, and made a nice play last half inning.
Chopper off the plate. Be a tough play for Urshela. And he fans on the chopper, and Robinson gets a hit. Mauer to second, and that'll bring up Rosario.
You know, the guy that I saw get more of those kind of hits than anybody I've ever seen, he's managing the Twins right now.
Oh, yeah? I thought you were going to say Kirby. Kirby got a lot of hits.
Kirby got a lot, but so did Paul.
Yeah.
Right off the plate, somehow the ball just goes up so high, nobody has a play. They can both run, and it's a base hit.
Terry Francona will make yet another mid-inning pitching change. 2 on and 2 out with the Indians comfortably in front. the Cleveland bullpen, and he will try to get the final out of the 8th inning. Kyle Crockett.
He's a lone ranger out there, left-handed wise, for Terry Francona right now.
Well, Crockett will try to get Rosario, who's picked up hits in his last 2 at bats, a single and a run scored in the 4th, and then he hammered a home run in the 6th inning. Two on, 2 out. And Rosario takes a strike on the outside corner. Twins with 9 hits, 4 runs, but that's not the story. The story is yet another painfully short start by a Twin starting pitcher. Irvin Santana was knocked out in the 3rd inning here tonight.
Santana, Graham, O'Rourke, Boyer, Jepson, and one more pitched the bottom half of the 8th inning for the Twins.
And on 3 pitches, Rosario's gone. The threat ends. The Twins leave 2 on in the 8th. Second time since his recall after with the team last year. He was one of the closers used in Rochester. Had a really good start to his year. And in last night's game, gave up a big 3-run home run to Yan Gomes, trying to get the Twins out of the 4th inning in relief of Mike Pelfrey. He'll face Urshela, Almonte, and Perez. Miguel Sano getting final inning here at first base. So the Twins will lose their designated hitter in case this game goes into extra innings. Liner to left, base hit, and Urshela's had a 2-hit night here tonight.
Well, Octor came into last night's game, like you mentioned, gave up the home run, but that was after walking a batter, Carlos Santana, and then he proceeded to strike out 4 in a row over an inning and 3rd. And that would be nice to happen right here. Just strike out 3 in a row.
Almonte the batter. 1 strike. Three hits for Almonte in his Cleveland debut. One and one. Dug out by Herman, 2-1.
Both these guys were battery mates just a week ago down in Rochester, AAA for the Twins.
Well, despite the short start, it would appear that the Twins will have a deep drive to right center field. What a night for Almonte. 4 hits and a 2-run home run here in the 8th. Indians hadn't scored since the 5th, but that was a loud one.
Well, the fireworks are coming after the game, but it seems like it's started in the first inning and hasn't stopped. Right? You can't center it better than that.
Wachter gives up his second home run in his second appearance. Now a ball line into the left field corner. I was starting to say it looks like the Twins will be able to get through this miserable game and give Fiend, May, Dunsing, and Perkins a night off, meaning they would be available then to use tomorrow. But now Achter's given up 3 hits and a couple of quick runs here in the 8th.
Well, I still believe they're going to get the night off. You know, maybe Sano will come in and pitch.
Well,
now that he's in the game,
you can speculate what that conversation might be about.
Yeah, Paul's smiling, so maybe he's asking him if he's ever pitched. And I said, it's either him or Escobar. Escobar would gladly pitch. That could be humorous, actually. He might do Louis Tiant stuff.
1 strike. Well, let's hope Achter can get his 3 outs here in the 8th inning, but now it's 1-1. I think Paul's done everything he can to avoid the prospect of using a position player, but
well, he's got to keep a few guys around tomorrow without, and that's closer, a left-hander, or a couple right-handers.
Fouled away. And one thing that might happen, and it's just a thought, if they did make a move and insert a position player, it might be Escobar who would pitch because he's at least warmed up and has been in the game, and presumably his arm's a little more loose. And then run Nunez out to short to take his place. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But now it's 3-2. Achter really struggling here. He did not have a good outing yesterday. The Twins had a lead, and a few pitches after he entered, the Indians had the lead. That's not how you want to make your season debut with the big league club. And now more hits against him here in the 8th inning. Ramirez up there with another chance, his 3rd to complete the cycle if he hits a home run. Single in the 1st, triple in the 2nd, double in the 3rd, and a ground ball to Mauer, and they reached in a fielder's choice in the 6th. 4 big league home runs for Ramirez. And a walk. Achter's faced 4 men, and all 4 have reached. And Tom Bernansky motioning.
He's asking somebody if they want to throw.
Shane Robinson. And Shane Robinson just gave him the thumbs up. On a night that has been very difficult to watch, if that were to happen, it would be just a disastrous experience for A.J. Achter, who obviously struggled here. But if the game has been managed to the point where Achter has to get 3 outs in the 8th inning, and to this point he hasn't gotten anyone out, and they have to do the one thing they've avoided or tried to avoid all night long, that would not be good for A.J. Achter. And now ball 1 and ball 2.
And they're just so many guys just struggling tonight. It's just been one of those games, kind of a whole team effect. It's not one guy that has had a clunker. It's the whole team, seems like. Excuse me, the whole pitching staff anyway. Everybody that's been in the game.
That's nubbed up the line foul, 2-1. And the way the dugout is maneuvering, you get the sense that maybe Nunez was asked and he said, no, I can't, I don't want to, whatever. And
well,
so
he's going to go in the game probably.
Right, but he may go into right field for Shane Robinson.
Or at short, and Escobar might go out to the left, and then Rosario over to right.
2-1. And it may depend on who's better with inherited runners.
Yeah, they're going to have to look deep down in the archives to see, what their whip is. And
well, maybe that's why the decision would be to go to Shane Robinson. They just feel that he would be better with inherited runners. There may be 3 of them out there.
now,
for all we know.
another thing to consider is the height advantage that Nunez has over Robinson. He'd have a better arm angle.
Poked down the left field line, and Rosario has no play.
It's funny because Shane Robinson has been taking some ground balls at shortstop every day to stay loose. And that's something that he hadn't done prior to this road trip that I noticed anyway. But the 2 of them, Eduardo Nunez on the right, Shane on the left, have both shared some ground balls at short.
That's poked to left. Rosario won't get there. It's a base hit. And the runner will be held. And A.J. Achter having a miserable time of it here. Entering the game in the 8th, he's faced 5 men and has not retired a batter. And that's going to be the end of his outing, with Paul Molitor signaling toward Shane Robinson. And we're going to have a change with Eduardo Nunez going into right field, and Shane Robinson will relieve A.J. Achter here in the 8th inning. The Indians comfortably in front, and Shane Robinson will make his major league pitching debut here in the 8th inning. make his major league pitching debut. Last Twins position player to do this, Jamie Carroll, on August 5th of 13. Almost 2 years ago to the day in Kansas City, pitched an inning, didn't give up any runs, threw 9 pitches, 7 of them strikes. And on this night, Twins will take that. I think they're letting Shane Robinson take a few extra warm-up tosses. By rule, I think he's still limited to the 8 warm-up pitches, and Mike Everett.
Well, Mike Everett's probably asking, okay, what do you throw? I mean, do I look for a knuckleball, a curveball, slider, changeup, screwball, split finger, forkball? How about just throwing a strike, getting it out, ground ball, double play?
The 8th different position player, with Rosario now in right field, Nunez in left, and Shane Robinson facing Mike Aviles. Missing ball 1. Again, Julio Becerra in 1961. Tovar in the orchestrated game where he played 1 inning at every position in 68. Dan Gladden in 88 and 89. John Moses in 89, twice in 1990. Michael Kadire in 2011. A scoreless inning. Drew Butera with what had to have been short of the Tovar outing in 1968 when he actually started the game. Butera with an impressive inning, and now it's 3-0. And then Jamie Carroll with a scoreless inning. In Butera's case, he got ahead of Carlos Gomez 0-2 with mid-90s fastball, and then struck him out with a mid-70s changeup. There's a strike, 3-1. And a walk, and Aviles will get a relatively free run batted in. The run, of course, charged to Octor. There's still nobody out here, and this is just becoming harder to watch by the moment here. Carlos Santana with the bases loaded. Carroll didn't walk anybody, as you might expect. 9 pitches, 7 strikes. Butera walked someone. Kadire walked somebody. And outside to Santana.
I was watching Shane warm up, and I give him a whole lot of credit for going in there and giving it an effort, but he didn't throw a strike warming up.
And now he throws his second strike. 80 miles per hour, if that matters.
This is basically batting practice with a guy that never throws batting practice.
Off the end of the bat, and Poof will fire to Sano. Thankfully comes down on the bag. Another run scored. So now runners at second and third. There's an out on the board. Santana gets a run batted in. And the batter
for the Tribe, pitching number 30, Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson, who just came over from the Atlanta Braves in a trade yesterday, actually just got here today. And his first Indians at bat comes with runners at second and third, facing a position player. Gomes, the designated hitter, had gone 0 for 3 with 2 walks. Popped up right center field. Rosario with the catch, and a bluff at third base, but of course the runner not coming. 2 down.
And now batting for the Indians, number 40, Jerry Sands.
Ninth man to bat, Jerry Sands. Three runs in here in the 8th. Not a single run scored in an inning. 2 runs in the first, 2 runs in the second, 4 in the third, 5 in the fifth, and now 4 in the eighth. And ball 1.
And Jerry Sands came in the game after Ryan O'Rourke walked 3 guys. Wayne Boyer came in and threw a home run pitch to him for a grand slam.
1-1. Pitch count starting to climb for Robinson.
Base open though.
That's true.
Pitching around him.
1-1. And now 1-2. He's getting locked in.
Paint in the outside corner.
Strike him out.
Curveball.
Sands, who had a grand slam in the 5th inning, is called out on strikes. And a reason to smile on an otherwise miserable night for the Twins. Shane Robinson with a strikeout to end the 8th inning. But it has been a night for the Cleveland Indians.
He might have a future. This last pitch, a knuckleball. You can see his grip comes out. Ball does no rotating except drop straight down on the black. Freezes. Jerry Sands for strike 3.
Well, Aaron Hicks will lead things off for the Twins in the 9th. And a strike on the outside corner. Sean Armstrong's debut with AAA Columbus. Good numbers, low opponent batting average. And so the Indians call up a guy for his debut, and he pumps gas right away, throwing 96 miles per hour. 1-1 to Hicks. Cracked foul at 94. third strike to start the ninth. So a moment that Armstrong will never forget. Hicks doesn't believe it was strike three. Let's take a look. Right there, right where, tell you what, he keeps throwing pitches down there. He's not going to go back to Columbus.
It won't be his last strikeout, that's for sure.
One down in the ninth, and here's Chris Herman. He got a chance to get some at bats down in Rochester, and he takes strike one at 96 miles per hour. That looked like it was outside, but for heaven's sakes, the score is 17-4. We've been on the air for 3.5 hours.
Action-packed, fun-filled evening.
Strike two at 96. Ooh. Just off the corner. Really good pitch at 97. Now when Armstrong tells his kids, grandkids, whatever about his major league debut, he might leave out the score. He'll just say, I struck out my first two batters, and now he'll go after Escobar.
I don't know. I think he'll be honest and tell him the truth. Why not? It's kind of interesting. It's not every day you see that kind of score.
CenturyLink, what's next? And boy, after what we've seen, we sure hope it's a good pitcher's duel tomorrow. Phil Hughes and Corey Kluber.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see just Phil Hughes do what he's done so many times for the Twins and pitch a good ball game.
He's going up the ladder in terms of velocity. 97 the first pitch to Escobar. And Armstrong working way over on the first base side of the pitching rubber. His right toes just barely touching the rubber. That's to center field. And a rock for the Indians. Series tied at a game apiece. Another short start for the Twins.